One of my all-time business mentors once told me there's a big difference between self-promotion and promoting yourself. But he also told me that if you don't promote yourself, then who will? What he meant by that is it's okay to brag. It's okay to have confidence. It's okay to let that shine through to other people. And I'll come back to this very topic at the end of this video. But I want to talk about something you may have heard about. It's called humble bragging. You may not know the exact term of humble bragging, but you definitely know the concept. You definitely know what I'm referring to. Let me give you an example. Someone says to you, "Man, I am so exhausted and so tired of people hitting on me." Or maybe, "I am so stressed out. I have all these opportunities coming at me for different jobs and I just don't know which one to take and I don't know if I even want to take another job." You ever hear the term fishing for compliments? In a lot of senses, that form of humble bragging is doing just that. You are disguising bragging through a somewhat facade of having a humble personality. And a lot of times, people don't necessarily like that. So in this video, I'm going to explain some of the research that has gone on to prove that humble bragging is not the best approach. It's not the best approach to earn friends. It's not the best approach to get a job. In fact, researchers at the Harvard Business School recently found that basically humble bragging is some form of finding profit through self-promotion or self-presentation. What that means is that people that are doing that form of humble bragging are oftentimes seeing that they can have some form of personal gain later on down the line. They're going to profit from it in one way or another, whether it be financially or emotionally. Later on down the line, they feel that if people think that I'm great, or people think that I'm good at something, or people think that I'm attractive or funny, but I don't throw it right in their face, then it's going to be a win for me because they're just going to see that level of skill that I have, but they're never going to actually have to hear me say it. I won't come across cocky. That's ultimately what they are finding. But what's really interesting is when we take this into a job interview setting, which is probably where you would recognize humble bragging the most. Let me give you an example. You're sitting at a job, the interviewer says, "Hey, well, tell me what your biggest pitfall is, or tell me your strongest negative attribute." And people will often say, "Well, to be honest, my biggest negative attribute is the fact that I like to help people too much, or I work too much, or I love my family too much." Sometimes they'll say the most crazy things in a way to not sound cocky. They want to come across humble, but they still humble brag. Well, what's interesting is a separate study found that job interviewers were less likely to hire those that humble bragged than hiring authorities were to actually hire someone who was outright honest, either about their skill or about their negative attributes. And then I want to look at one more study that was absolutely mind-blowing for me, and I think it's going to be illuminating for you as well. It was found through multiple studies that those that humble bragged were severely disliked compared to those that actually outright brag, and believe it or not, even more so compared to those that even outright complained. You see, what this comes back to is the level of deceit that humble bragging presents. When you're humble bragging, people pick up on it. We have these inherent abilities to notice this person is totally circumnavigating the fact that they're bragging. And we don't like that. Our spidey senses go off. We start figuring it out. And if we go back to evolution, it all makes sense. We go back 10,000, 15,000 years, and we're looking at a primal level when we were hunters and gatherers. Okay, we had to work together with people. And when we communicate with people, when we meet new people, we would have to know that they are honest, integral people that would help us further our families and further our tribe, or whatever the case may be. So if someone approaches you and they are ultimately lying, or they are humbly telling you how good they are at something, well, then it makes it so that later on down the line, if they don't perform, everything goes to crap. It can cause a serious issue. So we have this inherent ability to detect this deceit. And this reigns true today, especially in the workplace. We don't want to be around people that are trying to mislead us into liking them. And that's exactly what humble bragging does. So the honest thing that you want to do is you want to promote yourself in a positive, honest way. Be confident about what you're good at. It's okay to brag if you are really, truly good at something. People respect that. And as long as you can live up to that, and as long as you can own up to that later on, it's going to pay off. So find the confidence in yourself. Because if you humble brag, it's only going to hurt you in the long run. It's going to hurt you in business. It's going to hurt you in the gym. And it can definitely hurt you at home with your emotional relationships. Be honest. Be real with those around you. But most importantly, be real with yourself. Because if you're deceiving others through humble bragging, you're probably truly deceiving yourself as well. As always, keep it locked in here on my videos. I'll see you in the next one so you can learn how to be the best version of yourself.